So, January 6th, we all know what this is. We all know what happened. Or at the very least, we have kind of an idea of what happened. So, as these hearings have gone on, they've been pretty revealing as to how much information we had about what was going to happen. So, when everything was happening on Jan 6th, I think a lot of people were rightfully wondering, how did we get here? Who could have seen this coming? Well, it's pretty obvious who could have seen this coming. The White House. And a lot of the people who were supporting Donald Trump's lie about the election conspiracies and some of the sussy behavior that was happening around that. So let's take a look. These are from the most recent hearing on Wednesday. We're just gonna watch the highlights. Obviously, we don't have time to watch like all of it, but we're just gonna watch the highlights here and take in what's all been going on. We haven't really looked at any of the January 6th. We really haven't talked about it all on this channel yet. So this will be a good little I don't know, good little intro to it, I guess. Not really an intro, but let's just go.
When you look back at what has come out through this committee's work, the most striking fact is that all this evidence come almost entirely from Republicans.
The Select Committee got this pre-prepared statement from the National.
So he's making the point there that, like, all of the text messages, all the emails, a lot of that sort of stuff is coming out of Republican officials and Republican aid workers and amongst a lot of things. So the Republicans have been very quiet about the Jan 6 hearings recently. I think mainly because they understand that they can't really talk about it because they don't want to remind their voters that January 6th A happened, but B that we're all learning about more about it. They don't want their voters to learn more about that day because, quite frankly, it incriminates them a lot of the time. Maybe, I don't know about criminally, but certainly public eye wise, it doesn't paint them in a great light.
Archives. As you can see,
my back.
the draft statement, which was sent on October 31st, declares, "We had an election today, and I won."
Awesome. Let's just hope we're celebrating. Yeah. I really do suspect it'll still be up in.
If you're not aware, Roger Stone, political, what's the word? Operative on the right side. I don't believe he's like super affiliated with Republicans specifically. But overall, right-wing operative, provocateur, a pretty sus guy. I think he was part of the Nixon administration. I think he was. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I know he has a Nixon tattoo. Really weird guy. Really fucking weird guy. If you want a really good kind of deep dive into who Roger Stone is, I would go check out John Oliver's. I think he did like a whole segment on Roger Stone. It was really good. It was from a couple years ago, but like fucking loony bin guy.
In the air. But when that happens, the key thing to do is to claim victory. Possession is 9/10 of the law. No, we won. Sorry, over. We won. Yeah.
Ah, yes. This responsible gun owner here with I don't know if you can see that. It's his shirt is a kind of black and white picture of Kyle Rittenhouse, has King Kyle on it. This is another one of those, when I say toxic gun culture, this is a lot of what I'm talking about. I mean, he's a kid that shouldn't have brought an AR-15 to a protest that he didn't need to be at. I mean, technically it's within his right to be there, but bringing a firearm escalates any interaction in every situation you're in. So again, this is that, like, Kyle Rittenhouse's example is not of responsible gun ownership. It's a perfect example of irresponsible gun ownership. And the right and a lot of 2A guys really love Kyle Rittenhouse. And it's not because, it's not in spite of his irresponsible brandishing of a firearm. it's not in spite of that. It's because of that. It's because he went out there brazenly and, what's the word? Escalated any situation he was going to be in, and ended up shooting people. And yes, it was self-defense. If you watch some of the trial, it's fairly obvious that he was kind of attacked upon, and he did defend himself. That's not really, but again, it's one of those situations where all of this could have been avoided if this kid didn't go to this protest with a firearm. See, he showed up. If you're familiar with like the case and everything, he showed up with medic equipment, and he wanted to be a police officer, or at the very least, like, somebody to help the community. That's his own words. I'll let him. I'll take his word for that. But if you believe that somebody is entering into a community, whether it be theirs or another, intending to help, offer aid, then, it makes sense for him to bring a med kit, bandages, all of those sort of medical things. What doesn't track with that is you also bringing a firearm. And that kid's life, understand, that kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, is a victim of the 2A community and of the toxic gun culture in this country. That kid is a victim because he thought to offer help for people, to offer medical aid and everything else, he had to bring that sort of stuff. Give me a second. That's tape. Tape. It's tape you're trying to eat. My cat was trying to eat the tape. Piece of tape. Don't get pets, people. So silly. They eat everything. They try to eat everything. You have to like stop them from like eating like pieces of carpet and shit. Anyway, where was I before I got distracted? Right. So yeah, this kid is, in his mind, and like it really, his mother's activity kind of reveals a little bit about this. Because I mean, she seems fair, she seems at the very least a bit conservative to rather conservative. And understand, like, he didn't just come to the conclusion that to offer aid, I need to bring medical equipment and an AR-15. No, he was told, hey, if you want to go down there, if you want to offer aid, you got to make sure to defend yourself. And you got to make sure to bring an AR-15, be ready to like use it and everything else. And none of that was necessary. And now that kid's life has changed and he can't go back to being a normal person anymore. So understand, like, did he defend himself legally? Yes. Do I think it was justifiable force? Probably. But if you're asking me, do I think that like any of that shit matters? And the important part in my mind is how he got to that point and how he got to where he was and why he got there. And it wasn't because, a friend of mine works in the ER. He doesn't take a concealed carry weapon in with him because one of his patients who come into the ER might suddenly get violent. That's just not a thing normal people do. Normal well-adjusted people don't bring a first aid kit and an AR-15 to help people, because one of those is undermining the other. And that's what happened. And again, these guys celebrate that. They love that. Part of it, I'm sure some of them are happy that he shot people at a Black Lives Matter rally. I am sure some of them are racist. But like, you're never really going to prove that. And I don't know if Kyle Rittenhouse is racist, but I know he says shit that not just defends, but like reinforces some of those racist organizations, some of those, militias. He's bought into that stuff because at the end of the day, that's what he's around. Like I said, his mother seems kind of right wing, so it's not all too shocking to me that, he's been kind of led to this place, But anyway, let's continue. It's just the Kyle Rittenhouse stuff is it's unfortunate on all sides, but also, you know, there's still lives lost. You know, people lost their lives for needless violence that was really only instigated by bringing a firearm. Don't bring firearms to rallies or to protests. Just don't do it. Don't do it. It's not a thing you should be doing, because protests are not the place where responsible firearm you know, where responsible firearms live. It's not the place. Firearms only create irresponsible protest zones.
You're wrong. You.
ABC. I said let's get right to the violence. That's what I'm.
On December 31st, agents circulated intelligence reports that President Trump's supporters have proposed a movement to occupy Capitol Hill. In particular, they flagged spikes in violent hashtags like "We Are the Storm," 1776 Rebel, and Occupy Capitals.
So yeah, I mean, this is, again, this is more of the gun culture. This is more of what I was talking about earlier. You know, when owning your gun isn't about going to the range, shooting, and respecting it. It's about, you know, being a rebel, whatever that ends up meaning. And that's the thing. Being a rebel, you can be a rebel to anything. If you've framed something in some kind of a overbearing authoritarian frame, like anybody can be a rebel to anything. You don't watch MCU movies, you're an MCU rebel. Are you actually a rebel? Like, what do you don't go see movies that you have all the right and ability to not go watch. But again, you can rebel against anything. Not all rebellions are created equal.
On January 5th, a Secret Service open source unit flagged a social media account on the Donald.win that threatened to bring a sniper rifle to a rally on January 6th.
Senator Schumer is at a secure location, and they're locked down in the Senate.
There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that government can.
So yeah, like, you know, this is like, what, the day before, and somebody's wanting to bring a sniper rifle. Like, what do you bring a sniper rifle for? You know, you bring like, you know, think about what sniper rifles are for. We all play Call of Duty. We know what sniper rifles are for. You don't. When are you in that situation at a protest where you need to hold a position, like, and be the dude from Saving Private Ryan, the sniper guy? So that's a huge red flag. And again, this is Secret Service. We're kind of learning like how sus the Secret Service kind of is right now. But to the fact that, you know, the stuff, you know, people openly say this stuff, and they don't really say anything, and that's definitely not good. Certainly not good. So it's either a lack of, like, I don't even think there's a possibility to be a lack of training. That's just a disinterest in investigating people who, quite frankly, might be like you. I don't know what to tell you, you know?
Rally on January 6th.
Senator Schumer is at a secure location, and they're locked down in the Senate.
There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that government can function and that we can elect the President of the United States.
Concern we have about personal harm, personal safety.
Now, I can't tell. I'm assuming this is day of. So this is like when the riot is like properly happening and stuff. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, their first goal is to establish dominance again, because, you know, they're the government. You know, they're like, can't let the inmates run the asylum or anything. But yeah.
Is to just
transcends everything. But the fact is, on any given day, they're breaking the law in many different ways. And quite frankly, much of it at the instigation of the President of the United States.
I'm at the Capitol building. I'm literally standing with the chief of police of the U.S. Capitol Police. He just informed me.
Also, I want everyone also to realize, like, all these people who are like, everybody in that crowd will yell about how they're pro-police, Blue Lives Matter, everything else. But understand what they're doing is lying. Because they don't care about police, they care about right-wing people who are police. Conservatives who are police. Because I can tell you right now, this would never happen. If this were to happen at like a left-wing anything, it's over. It's over. Those people are getting shot. It's over. It's done. But because police generally in this country are rather conservative, the police force in this country is rather conservative, you know, these people think, oh, you know, I can just walk in. And there are going to be those who aren't either A, with them, with how conservative they are, or B, aren't conservative at all. And the minute that happens, they don't want those police. At the end of the day, the people who are protesting on Jan 6 do not want police officers unless they're conservative. They will make, and you know, we see this a lot, you know, not to throw anybody under the bus, but I had a conversation with somebody the day of January 6th happening. On January 6th, I texted a person that I know, and I asked them to explain this. They're more right-leaning and whatnot, and they have a lot of experience with police officers. You know, they've been around the block a bit. And you know what they did? I want to talk person. You know what they did? Excuses. There weren't enough officers. There was a few people, some people, things got a little out of hand. People just don't get along these days, and we can't agree on anything, and people just got out of hand, and no. These people chose to go down there. These people chose to riot. These people chose to assault police officers. But the right suddenly has no interest in talking about those lives. They're suddenly not that interested in those blue lives. So understand, Blue Lives Matter is complete horseshit, especially as an organization and definitely as a movement. Because it's not, they don't care if you're a left-wing officer. They only really care if you're a conservative officer. So let's be very clear about that.
What you will hear through official channels, Paul Irving, your sergeant at arms, will inform you that their best information is that they believe that the House and the Senate will be able to reconvene in roughly an hour.
So this afternoon, I am offering this resolution that the committee direct the chairman to issue a subpoena for relevant documents and testimony.
I might be crazy. I don't remember. Is Liz Cheney still, she's still in power? I'm like super curious. I don't remember now. I'm now kind of like, Did she win her race, or is her race coming up? I don't remember. No. Is Liz Cheney still in office? Has won something like... No. I'm sure she is right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she lost her race. I'm like fairly certain that she got like yeeted. Oh wait, is this it? 2022? Yeah, I'm like curious. Let's see. No. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, Republican primary. US. Yep. Yeah. Jesus. 66. So 66 to 28. Understand that is Liz Cheney got fucking BTFO'd right there. Like, get fucking murked. Jesus. This person looks like an insane person. I'm not going to get into whatever their politics are, but I don't. This person looks like a psychopath. Anyway, I was just curious about that. I got a bit distracted. Sorry.
Under oath from Donald John Trump.
Those in favor will say
John.
aye.
Wow, that's an awkward.
Aye.
Those opposed is no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of this stuff doesn't come out of nowhere. I think a lot of times it's people's, not expectation. It's people's desire for these sorts of things to kind of come out of nowhere. You know, between the Jan 6 ride and stuff like that. These are things that people think come out of nowhere, and they're not. This all has been building up for at least as long as I've been aware of politics broadly. You know, I am now 30, but, you know, this has been a talking point on the right. This has been a talking point of the 2A community for all of my life. So understand, this didn't just come out of nowhere. This didn't just suddenly happen. This was built up. This was very much something that I'm not going to say was inevitable, but certainly isn't something that we should be shocked by.